The headlines: Prime Minister Manele reaffirmed government's commitment to the long-awaiting Binahhaba infrastructure and tuna processing project in Malaita province. The Ministry of Health and Medical Services, WHO, and UNICEF is working closely to protect Solomon Islands from measles and polio after a rise in reported cases across several Western Pacific countries. And the portion plot at Gilbert Camp has been earmarked as the new cemetery site for Honiara City. Hello, you're watching SIBC's TV News Bulletin. I'm Sharon Nanau. Prime Minister Honorable Jeremiah Manele reaffirmed government's commitment to the long-awaiting Binahhaba infrastructure and tuna processing project in Malaita province. Prime Minister Manele, during Parliament's motion to thank His Excellency the Governor-General for delivering the speech from the throne last week, said he personally has been actively leading efforts to secure funding and international support for the project. The project is estimated to cost around $237 million.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as the Prime Minister, I have personally invested time and effort on two major infrastructure projects in Malaita province in the past 12 months. These projects are the Binahhaba infrastructure and tuna processing project. Since coming into office in May 2024, my government has accorded top priority to the Binahhaba project. Mr. Speaker, I have made it my personal mission as Prime Minister of Solomon Islands to champion, to advocate, and to seek funding for the Binahhaba project with an estimated cost of around $237 million. That is the current business case. I know that the business case is being reviewed, and we hope that the costing should come down. I have personally presented the Binahhaba project for financing considerations to the Prime Ministers of Australia and Japan, as well as to the New Zealand Deputy Prime Minister and Fisheries Minister. Sir, New Zealand has formally expressed interest, noting that SIG will allocate funds towards Binahhaba tuna processing project in its 2026 budget. The New Zealand government has also indicated its support to help us advocate and engage with partners for support.
Honorable Manele said in February this year he has presented the Binahhaba project to the Special Representative of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the United Arab Emirates for consideration. He added since the project's establishment, his government is the first to have established a specific cabinet subcommittee to oversee the Binahhaba project.
Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, in February this year, at the margins of the World Government Summit in Dubai, I officially presented the Binahhaba project to the Special Representative of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the United Arab Emirates, and also to the Director General of the Abu Dhabi Fund for Development for their technical as well as financing considerations. Sir, for the first time ever in the history of the Binahhaba project, it is now under serious consideration by several development partners. I also wish to highlight that this is the first time ever in any government that the cabinet has established a specific cabinet subcommittee to oversee the Binahhaba project.
Now, the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, the World Health Organization and UNICEF is working closely together to protect Solomon Islanders from measles and polio. This comes after a rise in reported cases across several Western Pacific countries, while neighboring Papua New Guinea has confirmed 2 new polio cases, its first since 2018, with environmental samples indicating community transmission. In a media statement issued yesterday, the ministry called on parents and guardians to look after the health of children, especially those at risk, who may be unvaccinated or under-vaccinated. Immunization coverage in the Solomon Islands remains critically low. Only 70.1% of children have received the first dose of the measles rubella MR vaccine, and just 60.6% have completed both doses. Polio coverage is also below the 95% threshold needed to prevent outbreaks. Parents and guardians are strongly encouraged to check their children's vaccination status and visit health clinics where vaccines are free and safe. The Ministry of Health warns that without immediate community action, the country risks repeating the devastating 2014 measles outbreak that caused 9 deaths and nearly 5,000 suspected cases. The portion plot at Gilbert Camp has been earmarked as the new cemetery site for Honiara City. Alex Dadamu reports.
The portion plot of 191,052,184 at Gilbert Camp has been earmarked as the new cemetery site for Honiara City. Minister of Home Affairs Honorable Junior Ezekieli Vave revealed in Parliament during his contribution to the motion to thank His Excellency the Governor General for delivering the speech from the throne last week. He said the new cemetery area will accommodate the cemetery and a cremation facility and a church. He added on improved accessibility to the new site. Once the plan is ready, the appropriate ministry responsible must carry out the required assessments on the road and bridge through to the new cemetery site at Gilbert Camp.
On the need to improve accessibility to the new cemetery site, once the master plan is ready, the appropriate ministry responsible must carry out the required assessment on the road and the bridge through to the new cemetery site at Gilbert Camp, and then carry out the needed maintenance and improvement as soon as possible. Mr. Speaker, on the need to evict the squatter settlements in and around the new cemetery site, the challenge now is how to effectively enforce the laws. Mr. Speaker, once the master plan and cemetery site is accessible by road, the Honiara City Council cemetery team will be able to go in and map out the new cemetery plan that includes footpaths, separating burial ground from adults and children, graves laid out to be organized, and no shelter to be built on top of graves. The new cemetery area will accommodate the cemetery and a cremation facility and a church.
Alex Dadamu for SIBC TV.
The official Make It 18 report was officially handed over to the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. Alex Dadamu with the details.
The official Make It 18 report was officially handed over to the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs on Friday. The Make It 18 report shows consultations held with children, youth, parents, caregivers, and faith and community leaders expressing clear support to change the law to raise the minimum marriage age to 18 from 15 years old. In his remarks at the handover, Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs Permanent Secretary George Hoao said the issue of child marriage is one of national conscience. He added the report will enable them to make policies based on informed data.
The question you may like to deal with them here is more than rewriting a question of law. It is more than that. As a Christian nation, I am of the view that it's actually a question of national conscience here. You must get them a conscience around not picking in blamey right. Yeah. And when come to getting things right, you must look at him more than lawyer. Me as a father, I will never allow my daughter for married at 15 yeah. No more. So it is a question where every father, every mother, churches, everyone of this country must be talking about it. I'm not this one. I'm even surprised that you may like for say make it at 18. For me, let me say make it 20. We're not yet thinking big. And then the part that is important, Lord, this kind of report is for policy making within office like Lomelo Justice and others, Mifala must depend on data. Data, findings on what people think out there must inform policies that we do. This goes toward that important part. Yeah? We must not elevate assumptions to the level of facts, which we are very good in. You look at FB, people share them one news, no, put them up now. Something was happen, but you not double check them good. But the importance for data, important for evidence of what people think to inform national conversations. In this case, this is excellent. This is whereby justice, Mifal Yusim here, this will report here. So the time you take him there, you say, by use him lawyer or use him law that part.
Meanwhile, New Zealand Deputy High Commissioner to Solomon Islands, Ms. Rebecca Williams, said they are happy to support the project, seeing Solomon Islands' human resources lies in the protection of its children and youths.
Stepping back a bit, we know that children and young people are one of the Solomon Islands' greatest sources of strength. So we know that supporting this group to be safe and to harness their full potential as future leaders and innovators is essential for a more stable, resilient and inclusive Solomon Islands. I have read this report now quite a few times. It is excellent, but I found it really confronting. This report is a call to arms. As we have heard already, all children and young people deserve to grow up with a chance to reach their full potential. We know that girls and boys who get married young are less likely to stay in schools and less likely to fulfil their full economic potential. I would like to also note that this report is a really great example of the value of all voices feeding into knowledge and into policy decisions. CVEP have shown the collective strength of children as advocates, and again we are honoured to support this work. Together with children, youth, parents, caregivers, faith-based and community leaders, NGOs, national and provincial government, let's make it a reality. Let's make it 18 in all communities across Honiara and across all Solomon Islands.
Despite international protections, child marriage is illegal in Solomon Islands. Under the Islanders Marriage Act 1945, children as young as 15 years of age are able to marry with parental consent. Alex Dadamu for SIBC TV.
Now the value-added tax is expected to be tabled in Parliament this year. Minister of Finance and Treasury, Honourable Hari Kumar, revealed during Parliament's meeting last week. He said the Attorney General Chambers has completed its final vetting of the VAT Bill 2025 and is expected to be introduced in Parliament this year.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the value-added tax VAT bill is expected to be tabled in Parliament this year. The value-added tax is essentially a tax that is charged on broad range of transactions for most goods and services, with tax deduction mechanism allowing businesses to offset VAT paid on inputs. It is a tax on final consumption by household that is collected by businesses in a staged payment process. It's taxable. Business pays VAT to its suppliers on its inputs and receives VAT from the customers on its outputs. So the first phase of the tax reform agenda is almost complete. The Attorney General Chambers has completed its final vetting of the VAT Bill 2025 and is expected to be introduced in Parliament mid-2025. Cabinet paper has been prepared for Cabinet approval of the VAT Bill to be tabled in Parliament. I urge all members to support this bill when presented in this Honourable House, because it will transform our tax system, enhance business growth, and will increase and protect government revenue.
Honourable Kumar added currently his ministry is working on the tax reforms and other legislative review aimed at improving and enabling the business environment by modernising the country's tax system.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Finance and Treasury is currently working on the tax reforms and other legislative review aimed at improving and enabling the business environment by modernising tax system of the ministry, of the country, and at the same time enhance economic growth for Solomon Islands. And one of those important fiscal reform is the reviewing of the Solomon Islands tax system. The tax reform seeks to deliver a fair, simple and broad-based tax system which ensures everyone who is liable to pay tax pays the correct amount. Mr. Speaker, the tax reform agenda is very lengthy. demands a lot of resources, and thus the government has decided to do the tax reform in phases. Phase 1 involves the development of the Tax Administration Act and the Value-Added Tax. The Tax Administration Act was passed in Parliament in 2022 and enacted on the 1st of January 2023. The Tax Administration Act provides the basis for the administration of tax laws of Solomon Islands.
Now, International Family Day highlights the role of parents in families in ensuring that families thrive despite challenges faced. Alex Dadamu reports.
Family Affairs Division within the Ministry of Women, Youth, Children and Family Affairs has acknowledged the role of parents in families in ensuring that families thrive despite challenges faced. Division Director Jackson Tassa made the statement at the International Family Day on Thursday, May 15th. Speaking to SIBC TV, Mr. Tassa highlighted the significance of the day.
This special day is significant, I will say, basically because regardless of the many issues affecting our families in the country, we can be able to see families thrive. We can be able to actually appreciate the work of mothers, the work of fathers, and we will never be able to neglect the fact that our youth in the country, regardless of what they experience, we can be able to put a smile across our face every day. We are different. We are unique in many different ways in our country. Solomon Islands is quite unique with regards to the blending of many, many different cultures we have, as well as our races here, but we are one.
Family Support Center Administration Officer Cynthia Sanau said families is a key element of development and progress for the country.
So family sa yung misalo Solomon Island hem falako bas pamisi asset blimil as a country as a whole 2 years as if issues affecting family and family not stable by country blimil no develop or progress too. So Family Support Center, some services where me fala offerem, where me focus for building family positive. Me fa more, me fa promoting na respectful relationships. Okay, so families sawe come seeking assistance, law counseling, legal services. Ota women and children save come mifa garam counselors law here. You may no discriminate no against each other. Families you may try for promoting peace inside law family too. Yeah? If peace him now some focus blow you may family by this all peace and spread out law every neighborhood, law community and society as a whole.
The United Nations General Assembly adopted May 15th as the International Day of Families. The day provides an opportunity for UN members, including Solomon Islands, to raise awareness on issues related to families. Alex Dadamu for SIBC TV.
And in sports, the Solomon Islands Basketball Federation today launched the highly anticipated Honiara High School Basketball Tournament in Honiara. 12 schools are competing in this year's competition. Martin Taromane reports.
1, 2, 3.
Second edition of the Honiara High School's Basketball Leagues kicked off today at the Multipurpose Hall in Honiara. An official opening ceremony took place today to signal the launch of the Advanced Technology-sponsored tournament. Solomon Islands Basketball Federation President William Lai thanked sponsors Advanced Technology for their ongoing support for the high school's tournament.
This year's league is sponsored by Advanced Technology. From last year's about $17,000 because there was no prize money. Now this year the company have increased to $50,000. So that we thank Hassan Wakil and his wife Helen for their generosity to be part of basketball here. Thank you for them to be involved in basketball. Youth was important. Without youth, there would be no basketball.
Guest of honor and Minister for Home Affairs Honorable Ezekiel Vave Jr. praised the federation, sponsors, schools and players for making this tournament possible, while also pledging his ministry's support for the federation.
This describes basketball very well. I wish all the teams well in this event. I encourage you to play fairly and to the best of your ability. I hope you will be humble in both victory and loss, remembering that there is no I in team. I thank the officials who have organized this event. I acknowledge the Basketball Federation for its vision and commitment to the schools in Honiara. Enjoy the competition and may the best team win. I now have great pleasure in declaring the Solomon Honiara Schools Basketball Competition officially open.
This year's tournament, meanwhile, sees a total of 12 schools competing for the boys and girls division titles. The schools are Betikama, Bisopepal, Bench Creek, Honiara High, King George, Naha, St. John, Selwyn College, St. Nicholas, St. Joseph's Tenaru, White River and Woodford International Schools. All competition matches will take place at the multipurpose hall. Martin Taromane, SIBC Sports.
And that's news. Follow us on sibconline.com.sb and our SIBC News Facebook page for more of our latest stories. Thanks for watching.